Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to episode number 20 of Playing with House Money on the Toilets to Titles Network. I'm Ice. You can find me on Twitter at Iceman_1013. This is my co-host DJ Pru at PruBaby10. How are you doing today, my guy?
Doing fabulous, my guy. Happy to be here. I like the hat, by the way.
Yeah.
Wow. If anybody's only listening, he has literally an Iceman hat, and I ain't gonna lie, it fits him very well. I'm digging it. How you doing today, my guy?
I'm doing well, man. There might be one on its way to you for Christmas. So
it better not say Iceman on it.
I won't say Ice. I'm just gonna get you some Iceman apparel, just to go. Hey, episode number 20. A couple of days ago, Toilets to Titles put out their 200th episode. I think it's a little bit serendipitous, if that's a word.
Yeah, I like that it worked out that way. You know?
Yeah.
It's crazy that this is 20 though. Holy hell. Man.
Yeah, right. But 20 down, at least 180 to go.
Yeah. Hopefully a lot more than that. But I'll tell you one thing. In those 20 episodes, I know we've won a lot of money. We've won people a lot of money, and unfortunately, last weekend was kind of crazy, so it wasn't a ton. But we'll jump in and let people know how last weekend went.
Yeah, it was
bad, bro.
Yeah,
like for everybody. Bad. I'm not saying like for us. I'm saying just bad. The books got some money back for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're going to have that, right? Like there's going to be weekends where that happens. So, hey, like we kept it light when we saw that was, we didn't go chasing. That was the main thing on late into Sunday. But yeah, I mean, like you said, just injuries kind of popped up in every game and not just the fringe players, like the players that you would have been bet on. And
stars. Yeah. I mean, we're talking, dude, we had a few parlays just from the noon slate that looked fabulous. And the only one that wasn't moving was a guy that had already been injured. So we already knew it was chopped. And I mean, you're talking, it wasn't like we had the same guy in 5 plays. You know what I mean? It was 5 different players that end up getting hurt. So it was, if anybody that plays fantasy football, obviously you guys more than likely felt the pain of all the injuries this weekend. But luckily I am the live bet king. And you said that we didn't go chasing Sunday. I sure as hell did go chasing, my friend, and I'm very happy I did. I do apologize for the that soccer bet on the one from to start the weekend. I think it was Saturday morning. That was Saturday morning, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I ended up, I hit the 1100. I hit a plus 1100. I had a plus I think he was only like 250 or 220 for any time. But what was that guy's name though? I can't pronounce it, to be honest with you.
The one that you took was Sesko. Benjamin Sesko. And the real annoying thing about it was that in his club, he plays for Red Bull Leipzig. Right, he plays for the boy but he doesn't start for them. Whenever he starts, he never scores. So he's one of those players that when he comes on, he's a live bet I normally always take. Seeing him start, I was like, no, we'll go for the other guy. And of course, when he turns up for the national team, it's obviously a different story to when he plays.
Right. So it was pretty lucky. I won't lie to the people. It was a pretty lucky play. I had a good, healthy bankroll going into Saturday morning. I kind of just, it was just one of the ones that I, threw in there. But we had that, and then so I started the weekend off good, and then college football was a little weird. Not so much like how we thought the games would go. There just weren't as many points from a couple of them. So we had a rough early Saturday. But I did have some live bets basically all weekend. Those were about the only thing that I could find real success on. Luckily the Eagles ended up cashing me, and then the Sunday night game we ended up cashing too. So it was we had some live bet luck, but the rest of it was pretty horrible. I ain't gonna lie. The injuries were terrible. That Debo's injury was probably the one that hurt us the most. We had a 2380 4-leg parlay 2380 that easily, I mean, everybody else easily hit, and he was the only one. So, but yeah, I mean, hey, we take our punches, and luckily we didn't give all the house's money back, and we load up for the week. So
that's it, and we go again, and hey, like we know that in this game there's hot streaks, there's cold streaks, and that was our cold one. And like you say, if we can pick up the odd winner here or there to see us through, then like you say, we just regroup Tuesday, Wednesday, and we move on to Thursday, and we go again. And hey, we're going to talk about the MLB playoffs now. Like, hey, like if you were betting the Philadelphia Phillies and a couple of their big players, if you've been betting them consistently throughout the season, because they would have cashed you a lot of these players, then you've actually probably cashed some pretty decent bets on the Phillies in the last few games.
Oh yeah. I mean, they feel like the team of destiny. Like there's always that one team every year where you're just like, man, they're just playing just out of their minds, and it's like nobody is even getting close to touching them. They're just absolutely raking right now at the plate. And Arizona, going into that series, I really thought Arizona would have a lot better of a chance, only because of how well they pitched against the Dodgers and whatnot. But dude, Bryce is just he's like a spark plug at all times, and then that atmosphere in Philadelphia is just unreal. But yeah, I mean, all their stars are just absolutely they're just playing ridiculously well. So I don't know if it'll keep up to the pace it is, obviously, because it's kind of crazy to say, but I mean, they all seem like they're playing for the love of the game at this point. They're playing like a family, so it's a little different then. But I will say though, I spoke something into existence a few weeks ago, and I said, if Texas gets hot, at the plate at the right time, they might make a run, and sure enough, they have picked it up. They're not even full go yet. I'll keep it real with you. They've had a very flashes and whatnot, but they're not even full go. And if they get there, that is going to be an insane series. Texas is up right now, and it looks like they're going to advance. Phillies obviously are. I mean that wasn't even a series at that point. So that could be an exciting one, man. I'm really looking forward to Corey Seager and Bryce Harper facing off in the World Series. I want to see if Nick Castellanos can stay as hot as he's been, which it's been a while now. It's been some weeks now. You know what I mean? So Kyle Schwarber finally got going, and Trey Turner's built for the moment. So I think that series would be the best, just the most electric that we could get. So really excited about that.
Yeah, for sure. Very interested to see. I'm not betting on every single game. I know we're not, because it's just, and it's always the way, right? Like I know we've got some guys in the Discord that are playing, playing the same three guys every night, and it's always some kind of combination of two of them. It seems, certainly with the Phillies at least.
Yeah.
I might have dipped in last night and saw the record that Trey Turner had against who pitched last night.
For Arizona,
Merrill Kelly.
Merrill Kelly. Yes, because I do remember seeing that. I do remember seeing his insane track record against him.
Yeah, and I was sat there, and I literally sat there and went, okay, plus 400 for the home run. Done, like plus 100 for 2 total bases. Let's play that pretty big, and then let's go on and do the DJ thing, and look at DraftKings and play the 4 total bases at plus 340 or whatever it was. Mix that, can't play that on its own, so mix that in with some Ks, 6 Ks, and hey, so I thought about that all afternoon, and instead just played one bet, which was his 4 bases, 6 Ks, and then I took, of course, the one player that didn't
Bryce.
get a freaking hit. No, for 2 total bases, I took Nick, didn't I? And he walked him twice, had a sack fly, and everyone else around him. I literally looked at the game cast at one point, and it just said double, and I was like, I knew he was at bat, and I was like, happy days, cashed. No, he was the intent walk in between. I don't know, was it Alec Boehm, I think, batted before him, double, and then Brandon Marsh after him, 2 doubles either side of it.
Or no, maybe it was Bryson Stott.
It might have been. Either way, it was a double, the intent walk of Castellanos, and then another double. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? But
I hate when that happens. I hate that when it happens, because it's like the guy that I need you intentionally walked, and it didn't even matter because then you ended up getting raked for another.
Yeah.
That's how it is. They will always, I feel like every time one of our guys gets intentionally walked, somebody comes in and just rakes a homer. Like, just cranks one like right away. And you're like, well, you guys did that for nothing. Like, my guy messed around and would have struck out because I need him for a hit. Like, hey, you played yourself.
But I know that we've got guys in the Discord that were playing Schwarber and Turner and Bryce Young and combinations.
Bryce may be hurt all of gambling Twitter yesterday. I saw it too. I was actually pretty glad I stayed away from him.
Yeah. But I mean
it's going to be insane. It's hard to pick, and that's why baseball is so hard too, is you see teams as hot as they are.
Yeah.
And of course, you start betting on it, and then it's the guys like Alec Boehm, Bryson Stott, Brandon Marsh, and it's hard to call. It hurts when you call the wrong guys, and then that very next day they go off and whatnot. So, yeah, it's gonna be fun though. We're gonna pick it up for the World Series for sure. So, yeah.
And it would be remiss of me to not mention at this point that I did pick the Phillies at the start of the season. I posted the parlay, which was the Phillies, the Eagles to win the Super Bowl, and Philadelphia Union to win the MLS.
Yeah.
So it's not just to say that I'm going to hit if the Phillies win. There's a lot of other stuff that needs to happen, but I did think that Philadelphia had a great shot this season across multiple sports. And hey, it looks like they're getting to the World Series. And like you say, I like the team. I like, the fan base is. There's some people. It's the same as everywhere, though, right? Everywhere has got a fan base that is like.
Right. You would love them. You would love them if you were.
But,
if you would love the whole thing. If they were, your
For
team.
sure.
It's like Buffalo. It's like, I hate to say it, it's like the Bears. It's like, I feel like all the Philly teams are like that too. It's like Boston, like the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
They just, they're just diehard and they're passionate, and when they're on, they're on. But hey, remember the Phillies went to the World Series last year and didn't work out. But I will give credit where it's due. You are a lot closer than most with those predictions. So.
But yeah, we move on. And hey, if you are interested in finding some more of our content, it's on toiletstotitles.com. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. We would massively appreciate that. If you want to interact with the team, discuss any of our bets, whether it's on the MLB side, whether it's college football, NFL, soccer, absolutely anything. We've got, NHL's kicked off. We talked about it briefly last week, but that's really in full swing now. Anything like that, let us know. Jump into the Gilded chat with Toilets to Titles. 275 people, I think, in that chat. We've had some great bets posted in there from not just ourselves posting winners, but some of the guys that are supporting us that, you all know what you're talking about. So, hey, jump in, share your bets. We're not we don't win every single time, but we're happy to talk you through what we're looking at. And hey, we say this all the time, even if it's something that we're not saying that we're betting on. Pru's happy to, I've seen you in there, a lot of people talking about the college football stuff. You're like, hey, I'm not betting on the kids. You've said that every week, but this is what my thought process would be. And this is where I would look. And if people want to, have that type of conversation, then hey, that's the place to be. And if it's not, then at PW_house money on Twitter. We told you our our ats at the start of the show. It's at Iceman_1013 and at PruBaby10. Hit us up, let us know. And yeah, we'd love to interact with you. And as we talk about the 1013, hey, we hit a nice 1013 winner last week. But
yes,
find out more about that. Playing with House Money present the SGC is back with a brand new episode tomorrow. So don't miss that. We're looking towards another plus money weekend. So don't miss out. We're back after the international break. But hey, we're moving on, and we kind of just touched on it. But what have we got? Where are we looking this week for you've got your cap on, the collegiate cap?
No, this is just I wear many hats. I wear many hats, my friend. I wear many hats, and I'd be remiss not to mention that my boys got a top 25 matchup this week, in the conference. You got Florida State Duke. Duke has surprised a few people. They gave Notre Dame one hell of a game, and obviously had the early upset to start the season. So they're obviously not just going to lay over and let Florida State get them. Especially not early. I do like Duke's defense, but I just don't think they're going to have enough in that roster to keep up. Jordan Travis is obviously still playing at a very high level. Keon Coleman is not human. I don't know if anybody saw Keon Coleman's one-handed catch last week, but if you haven't, go search it. And that man is not human, and he just transferred this year to Florida State. He was,
and if you didn't check out the short that Toilets to Titles posted on Keon Coleman earlier this week.
That's a good reminder. I apologize. That's a good reminder. They did a breakdown on that. It was they looked at it. They really just talked about Keon in general. A lot of us in Toilets to Titles were actually very big on Keon Coleman going into the season. So it's good to see that come into fruition. But yeah, that kid is just unreal. So shout out to him. I expect obviously Florida State to win. I just don't see Duke having enough firepower, and I don't think Florida State's coming out flat. Mike Norvell has these kids playing with a lot of passion, and then Penn State faces Ohio State this weekend. Big Ten matchup. It's always a very good game. This matchup typically decides like who's gonna really go to the Big Ten championship or really has a chance at the BCS playoff.
Yeah, go on.
So, sorry about that. So, Ohio State's obviously still undefeated. And I don't think Penn State really has enough to make this, an upset. But there was a few weeks that Ohio State did look a little shaky. They came out slow. I don't really think Penn State has enough to do it. I am going to take the over in that game, though. I saw the line earlier. I think it.
I'm surprised. I was going to say, I'm surprised how low it is.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what I said when I saw it. I was like, wait a minute, that can't be right. They only have 45.5.
Yep.
As the total line. So I'm smashing that. I did look at the Florida State Duke line, and it kind of threw me off a little bit, only because Duke's been in a couple games that were just very low scoring, like Notre Dame, and then I think they both had under 20 at the night game. So I mean they've been solid enough on defense to at least keep it, not too bad. Obviously Florida State's loaded, but their line's only at 49.5. And I think realistically Florida State could put up, 35, 31. I'd say 31. Let's be realistic. 31. I think Duke gets 17 points, 18 points. So I mean, we're talking a field goal. I just don't see it staying under 50. That's just me though. But then we have last but not least, we have Utah and USC. Obviously, I have been probably the most critical of Caleb Williams. Not on our shows, only because we keep it, gambling and brief with, all the sports that we cover. But I've been very, very critical of Caleb Williams. And it's only because people have really sold this kid as just like an instant difference maker for just the most horrid franchises. And it blows my mind. And then you see games like Arizona 2 weeks ago, and then you see games like last week, And it reminds you that, I mean, one, he's still young. Two, he's in a Lincoln Riley offense. He typically makes his quarterbacks look very well. Lincoln Riley has multiple number one overall quarterbacks drafted. So it's just, I think it's people are kind of blowing him out of proportion just slightly. He is very, very talented. He has a very high ceiling, but he's not just going to come in and win, an NFL franchise 10 games after they only won 2 the year before. So Utah USC, I think, is going to be a statement game for him to bounce back, but also I think it's going to show how, Utah is pretty far from USC. And right now USC dropped all the way to 18 after the loss. Utah's up at 14. The line is only at 54.5, and I think USC puts up at least 45 of that. I think it's going to be at least 42, 48. Like Caleb, I think they're going to come out there and try to really run it up. So those are my 3. There's actually a lot of games that are good this weekend. Tennessee, Alabama. We got a lot. There's going to be a lot. You'll have to get into the Discord or the Gilded to get all of them, but college football is going to be fun this weekend.
It sure sounds it, man. Looking forward to it. I was looking through and I was like, oh, Penn State at Ohio State's the first game on the, it's the early kickoff. And then I was like, then you dive straight into Florida. I was like, oh, he's not picking this one. I'm surprised. And then you had to mention your boys first, and then you kind of swung back in.
The people get this, it's Thursday, bro. I'm going to mention my boys first because we have to. I mean, I don't save the best for last. That's not how I do it.
No. All right. I got you. But no, so, hey, what do we talk about instead? Moving on, Thursday night football. We actually have I say this, it's going to be another potential prime time horror show. Jacksonville in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And I know you kind of said the same thing. Travis Etienne is
balling.
Trevor Lawrence was limited in practice on Wednesday. Knee injury. Even if he's a full go, Travis Etienne has had 18 carries minimum in his last 4 games. He's averaging 4 yards per carry. Saints defense is pretty decent against the run, but looking at it, like they were up against Devin Singletary and Dameon Pierce last week. You know what I mean? Like they were up against Zeke and Ramondre, and I know everyone's talked up Ramondre last season, but he's not really done like. So when you're again, but I think Travis Etienne is a class above those guys.
It's not even that. I mean, none of those offenses that you named, besides I guess Houston every once in a while, like their offense isn't like their passing isn't scaring anybody. Their quarterbacks aren't scaring many people.
Yeah.
I know CJ Stroud's playing very well, but he's not striking fear into defenders, especially not defensive coordinators. You can stack the box against those type of teams and shut the run down and try to make that quarterback beat you. And obviously we've seen in New England that's the exact opposite of what they want. And then it's Houston. So it's like with this, you have to fear Trevor Lawrence just airing it out to everybody, especially Christian Kirk. And then I think they said Zay Jones is playing this week as well.
Yeah, he's back. Well, he's at least as of Wednesday, he's back practicing, and
So game time decision. I'm assuming they'll drag that out, but you're not going to be able to put 8 in the box against Jacksonville just to stop Etienne, because then you're just going to let Trevor Lawrence pick you apart. So I do like Etienne's lines. 64.5 for a starter that's getting 18 carries and playing like he is. I'm going to love that. But the Saints front 7 is very, very stout. So we'll see how that goes. I like Alvin Kamara though. Jacksonville has been very inconsistent. I don't really know which team you're going to get, but it's a Thursday night game, and obviously, as you know, Thursday night games, I have this theory that they're just always going to be just a crazy shootout or a snoozer, and more than likely it's going to be a snoozer. So I like Alvin Kamara. I just don't know which one he's going to do. It's going to be one. He's either going to get the rushing or the receiving. It's not going to be both, but he'll get 100 of the one that he does. So I like his line for rushing plus receiving. I want to say it's 85.5, 84.5. Yeah, 85.5. So him and Etienne. So Etienne over on rushing 64.5 yards, and then the over 85.5. Those two together are plus 252. And then if you're greedy like I am, I'm throwing in a third leg for the Olave receptions. Chris Olave, I love him this week. If he can finally get as many targets as he's supposed to, I do like him for over 4.5 catches. His receiving line is a little iffy for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hopeful on Olave this week just purely because I picked him up in Frankenstein this week. Just
did you? Him. Is that who you went with?
Yeah, that's who I stole.
Oh, wow.
So hopefully he comes out and hopefully he gets 10 catches and 2 touchdowns on Thursday night.
Hey, I wouldn't be mad at it. I do love his matchup though. I think with the routes that they have him run, like the schemes that they have him run, he's going to have a lot of looks against zone. So we'll see.
Sounds good, my guy. And yeah, mine was just the ETN rushing line at 64.5, like you'd already said, and then he's even money plus 100 for his touchdown anytime. So took the two together for plus 218. Used the DraftKings 50% boost on the Thursday night game, so that puts those two at plus 327.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think you're right. It's, Kamara is very much like Pollard was on Monday. It's one of those, like, he's going to hit his line on one or the other.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that rushing and receiving at 85.5 is a nice look. And then what have you got for Sunday? Got a couple of you gone for a 4-leg on Sunday?
Yeah, I'm going for a 4-leg on Sunday. Last week was one of those where, like, I'm trying to erase it from my mind so I don't overthink some of it. But
yeah,
this Sunday, I mean, we got some decent lines right now, especially just from what we saw, what we've seen the last few weeks. Detroit plays Baltimore. Baltimore's obviously not just been blowing teams out, but they've been good. They've been very sound. But the way Detroit's playing on offense, I know Monty got hurt, but Gibbs is very explosive, and I think the way that Jared Goff is playing is going to be just fine for them to get out of there with a win. But I'm going to take them at +3. I got Lions +3. And then we get the Giants against the Washington Commanders. So that's just going to be obviously the greatest game of all time. And I just mean defensively, because I do think this is going to go under 39. I don't really like unders, especially with the points. So I might mess around with that, maybe like an alt line just a little bit, but I'm pretty confident on that under 39, to be honest with you. And then Buffalo -9. They play New England. New England, I don't even think they know who's starting at quarterback right now. I don't even know if Mac Jones thinks he's employed anymore. So I love Buffalo -9, and I think Buffalo's like really playing with some grit right now. Like, they'll blow anybody out if they want to, just to make that statement. I know San Fran's kind of gotten away from them on top team in the league and whatnot. So yeah, Josh Allen has never been scared to hang 40 on somebody, even if they have 6. So I like that -9. And then somehow the Las Vegas Raiders are only a 3-point favorite. We might see Max Crosby go for like 8 sacks himself, to be honest with you. Obviously, they have Tyson Bagent starting, the rookie, at quarterback. I don't know how it's just 3 points. It choked me up too. You're damn right. Las Vegas -3 is probably going to be like, just bet it. You can bet that straight if you want. Just bet it.
Well, it's probably because they're starting either Aiden O'Connell or Hoyer at quarterback.
Hey, bro.
I understand your point. That
defensive, bro. Even if they do, this game could go 3-0. Like, and the Raiders would have won. Trust me. Max Crosby is good. He might set a record. That defensive line is going to maul the Bears. Roshan Johnson should be back, but I don't know, bro. I don't know how it's just 3 points. I might have to do a unit bet on that one. I got to see how these rosters pan out come Sunday, but that's definitely one that I'm looking at. But yeah, those 4 legs, came out to plus 595.
Yeah, you did that wrong. You've definitely not added the 4th leg.
Oh, for real? Oh,
yeah, that's definitely
you're
3.
Right. You're right. It's plus 1100.
Yeah, I was gonna say much more like it.
Plus 1100 for the 4. You can take out Las Vegas just in case I've completely jinxed this.
I mean, yeah, I think if you, I don't mind it.
That under 39, I'm
that's the one that I would,
just because it's super low. You know what I'm saying?
That's the one I would. If you alt that up to like under 45 or something like that,
exactly. It wouldn't even be that bad.
No, I still think, and even if it's like under 46 and taking the Raiders money line, even if you didn't like them at the -3, that's still a plus 700 bet.
Yeah.
So I like that, man. To be honest, mine, and I looked at, similar to you, I looked at these 1 p.m. games on Sunday, and I was like, I don't really like any of these. But like you said, for exactly what you were looking at, just like the way that these teams have played last week and the week before, you just don't know what you're going to get. So mine really is looking at the after, the 3 or 4 afternoon games. That's where my treble comes in. The LA Rams against the Steelers. And that Steelers defense is, I wouldn't be surprised to see Cooper Kupp and Pucker and Tutu Atwell all go for 100 yards and a touchdown in that game. So I've taken the Rams. The Rams are only -3 as well on the spread, but I took the Rams team total over 23.5. I did a kind of a mix and match on the, like you did with the under line. I took the over in the Seahawks Cardinals game, but I changed it. The over under at the moment is 44.5, and I don't mind it, to be perfectly honest, but I'm just worried how many points the Cardinals are actually going to put up. So I changed that down 10 points and took the Seahawks money line and the over 35. And then to compensate taking that down a notch, I took the Chargers and Chiefs up 2 points. I think the over under there is 47.5. The last 5-6 games between these teams has gone over 50 points. I think the last time it went under 50 points at Arrowhead was 2017.
Oh, wow.
So, I took that over 49.5, and that comes out just under plus 500 for the 3.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. It's not even asking for a lot either, so I definitely like that.
No.
Oh, yeah.
So,
we'll see.
But, it's going to be another roller coaster weekend. Hopefully, fingers crossed, no injuries, just for fantasy and for betting. It's becoming a minefield out there to pick your way around the injuries and who's going to do what. And, you've got backup running backs that, and receivers that you kind of like the look of. And then all of a sudden they get 3 carries for -2 yards. And you're like, okay,
right.
Don't know why I bet this guy over 70 yards. But hey, anything can happen. That's the National Football League. But just excited for another weekend. Hopefully we cash the. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play all of our the 7. I'm gonna play the 7 legs and call it the showstopper.
Hell yeah, I'm down.
Just because, just play the 7 on Sunday, and just excited for another weekend. And thank you all for watching and listening to episode number 20. Shoot us any questions on Twitter. If you're interested in joining Gilded, if you have any questions about any of the bets, what we're betting on, any of the games we haven't talked about today, anything you like for Thursday night football, let us know. We want to hear from you guys. And hey, we'll see you next week. We're playing with more house money.